It's our first attempt in learning.
Oh,
We're not failing, we are winning. Record the first
tie.
Yes, I should have. Well, it's allergy season. How many of you can see I'm allergic to broke? Yes. All right. So welcome to the Oracle Atlanta Toastmasters virtual meeting, 3/19/2020. Our theme of the day is committed to our commitments despite COVID-19. Who is Rona anyway? So I want to welcome everyone. Let us first drop the gavel on our meeting. Bam! Let me call the meeting to order. As your virtual sergeant at arms, it's my role to make sure that we are oriented to our space, but also to make sure that we get a couple of things out of the way. So first, let us have our Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I guess that requires actual standing, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Pledge allegiance to
the flag
of the United States
of
of
America,
and to
and
the
to the
republic
for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
with liberty and justice
with
for
liberty
all.
and justice for all.
Awesome. And let's make sure that we continue with our club mission statement. And for those of you that don't have your agenda handy there in front of you, we provide a supportive and positive
learning
experience
in which members are
in which
empowered
members are
to
empowered
develop communication and
leadership skills,
resulting in greater
self-confidence,
personal growth.
personal growth.
Awesome. All right. See, you know what? I might be good at this sergeant at arms thing as long as I can stay home while we do sergeant. That might be a secret. And a couple of things, just words of announcement. Normally, as sergeant at arms, I would instruct you to turn off your cell phones, get rid of all the possible disturbances that you could have, silence your run-in characters, try to keep the babies from barking and the dogs from crying during our meeting time. And a couple of things in terms of Zoom etiquette, and thanks, Ben, for going out and grabbing this information for us. Just thinking about what's different in Zoom versus when we're in the room together. I do encourage all of you to have your video on because we are here for interaction, dialogue, and conversation. At the same time, so try not to use your email, if at all possible, close it, silence it, what have you. And then second, when you are not, as we go through our better speaking, listening, and thinking sections, when you are not the presenter, let's work on being on mute. Now, does being on mute mean gone? No, you got to give our speakers your full eyes and your full energy. Does that make sense? Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
And last but not least, as you are finishing, so I know we have two dynamic speakers today, excited to hear from each of them. When you're done, my cue that I can unmute my microphone and come back to speaking and take center stage is Mr. Toastmaster. Everybody, let's try it. Say, Mr. Toastmaster.
Mr.
Toastmaster.
That'll be my name. But at the same time, we are a mutually congratulatory success society, so applause is still our tradition. Now, of course, there won't be any time that people are moving from their seat to the lectern because they're already there. But our applause, we'll use sign language. This is sign language for applause. And then I guess we have a standing ovation today, so we'll have to figure out something novel for that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, any other questions for the general body as we go through our agenda for the day?
No.
Now, quickly, let me jot down some notes on things that have changed over the last hour or so that we can confirm that we have everybody in a role and a role for everyone. I'm Sergeant at Arms, and today acting as Toastmaster. Bernard Asaf, our president, is in the house. Jeremy Moody, did Jeremy get in as general evaluator, Ben? Do you see him online?
Yes, I am.
He is there.
Jeremy's in the house. And then Kari Evans has stepped up to be our monosyllabic pause indicator, counting our us, ers, and ums. And then Cheryl Collins will be double duty as word master grammarian with our word of the day. Timer, Ben Asaf, and this is probably a place for me to stop sharing so that you can see our high-tech timing devices. Yeah.
Oh.
Construction papers in the house.
It's not focusing.
So that'll replace timing lights for us today. And Tanya, yep, check. And then on our part 2, let's see. Oops, back up one slide. Table Topics Master Wilfred, present?
Not yet. I'm trying to find him.
Okay. And then confirming we have an evaluator, Bhavana will be evaluating Siobhan.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
we
I'm
need
here.
one more evaluator to evaluate Anne. So speakers 1 and 2, Siobhan, Reed, and Ann Demisa is just down the bottom of the page on my slides. Let me fix that. How do we adjust up? There we go. Branding your brand with Ann Demisa. All right. Do I have a volunteer for evaluator number 2?
I can do it if you'd like me to.
Okay, is that Catherine?
It is.
Outstanding. We sure appreciate you. Let me make it official so that you'll be on the transcript of this meeting when it goes into the historical archives.
Is this a Pathways one?
Yes.
Yep, this is Dynamic Leadership Project 4.
Level 4 project.
What are your designations, Catherine? Let me get you right on here.
AC, what is the other? S?
ACS.
And ALB.
ALB. I think some new DTMs are coming out this year. It's happening. It's happening all around us. All right, so we have a full agenda. Of course, our meeting is divided into our 4 principal sections. You have our better thinking, better speaking, better listening, better attitude. All of those things, if you put them together, we end up at the end of a meeting with a better you. So better attitude, better speaking, better thinking, better listening. And let's see, I don't think we have any visiting Toastmasters, so I will bypass role review for today.
What?
Is that okay? Oh, well, no.
Well,
As
we
a
do
matter of
have
fact,
at
let's
least-
go in order so that we have a way to do it. You're right. Let me introduce our general evaluator, Jeremy Moody, to introduce his team so that we get better all through the meeting. So virtual round of applause. Help me welcome Jeremy Moody. Everybody else, you are mute. Jeremy, you there?
Thank you. Yes, I am. I am unmuted. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters guests, the purpose of the general evaluator, no laughing, is to evaluate everything that takes place throughout the meeting. Now, during the meeting, I will take notes on everything that happens and doesn't happen. I will evaluate each participant on the meeting program and look for good examples of preparation, organization, delivery, enthusiasm, observation, and performance of duties. And at the end of the meeting, I will give my report. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Waves.
Oops.
I do have a
That's
stellar
the applause. It was
Yes.
the unmuting. I was over here steadily taking over while having muted myself. Note to self, click the unmute button before you start talking. And now, Jeremy, your team consists of several people. Will you introduce your folks? You have, well, matter of fact, I'll help you with who's assigned. Your grammarian word master is Cheryl Collins.
Yes, Cheryl, tell us what you do.
Hi guys, my name. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great. So I am serving as the grammarian today, and you want me to introduce the role, right?
And the word. Did you get the email with it? If not, I can share one.
I did not get the email with it,
No worries.
but
Let's cheat.
I had chosen another word.
Oh, okay.
Is that okay?
It's fine with me.
Or do you already have one on the agenda?
I do have one on the agenda, but we're virtual,
Okay.
so you
What
can
is it?
change it. I had for the word of the day, commitment. And let us see.
Well, I had for the day ebullient.
Ebullient. That is
Yes.
bubbling over with excitement. I like it.
Yes. And the reason I chose that word is because this meeting is all about leadership, right?
Yes.
And I believe that as a leader, it's our role to set the tone for the meeting or wherever we are, whatever room we enter. It's our role to set the tone. And I believe that if we set an ebullient tone, overflowing with joy and excitement, that will always, huh? What was that?
Said she
I said
likes
I
it.
like
Did somebody say? Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that as a leader, we should always set the tone with an ebullient attitude. So
All right.
as your grammarian, I will be looking forward to hear each one of you use the word ebullient in your speaking today.
Excellent. And those of you that have noted, Cheryl has Bernard has placed the word of the day in the chat on your left. If you don't see the chat, if you're on a Windows device, Alt-H will get you there. Ebullient, adjective. Boiling, agitated, characterized by ebullient attitude, enthusiasm. Oh, I'm so excited about the word. I'm literally boiling over right now. Okay, next, Jeremy, on your team as our counter, we have Kari Evans.
Hello, everyone. I am feeling ebullient. I don't know if I said it correctly. To be here and to be your ah counter. As the ah counter, I will be keeping track of all of the filler words, the ahs, the ums, the so's, you knows, and I will give a report at the end of the meeting.
Outstanding. And last but not least, we have our timer. That is Bernard Asaf.
Hello, everyone. I'm your timer today. And as a personal note, thank you all for attempting our first virtual meeting for Oracle Atlanta Toastmasters. Welcome to all of our guests. If I could just be a little bit of a presiding officer today, Kari and Ann and Cheryl, guests to our club today. We are so thankful that you're here. And don't worry, we'll give you a chance to tell you how we did at the end of the meeting. So please take vigorous notes. You might even take ebullient notes, although I probably just used that word of the day incorrectly. All right, back to timer. Today, we will be timing to keep us on track. Prepared speeches are generally 5 to 7 minutes. Richard, can I confirm both our speakers are 5 to 7? Actually, that's not true because I know Siobhan is doing her icebreaker, which is 4 to 6 minutes.
Correct.
So you will get a green piece of paper at 4. You'll get yellow at 5 and red at 6. And our second speaker, is it a 5 to 7 minute speech?
5 to 7, yes.
Excellent. You will get green at 5, yellow at 6, red at 7. For table topics today, we will have 1 to 2 minute answers. You will get a green card at 1, yellow at 1.5, red at 2 minutes. As always, 30 seconds to wrap up after you see red. And for speech evaluations, we will have 2 to 3 minute speech evaluations, green at 2, yellow at 2.5, red at 3, and it will stay red until you stop speaking. Now, back over to our Toastmaster today, Richard Hardon.
Awesome. Well, thank you, General Evaluation Team. We surely appreciate your presence and your contribution. And to get our meeting kicked off with a better attitude, help me welcome Tanya Caruso, Joker of the Day. It is so hard not to clap my hands, right?
Okay, so a doctor starts a practice and decides to challenge himself by putting out a sign, "I'll cure any sickness for $100, and if I can't, I'll pay you $500. Luckily for him, this was prior to the pandemic. So a lawyer sees the sign out front and decides this would be easy to make some fast cash. "Doctor, I can't taste anything," he says. So he asks his nurse to grab vial 45. She puts 2 drops on his tongue and he screams and says, "That's gasoline." He pays the doctor $100. The next day he decides to come back, feeling he might be lucky. And today he complains that he lost his memory. So the doctor asks the nurse to grab vial 55. And he says, "Isn't that the gasoline?" And then he ebulliently pays the doctor $100. The third time he comes back and he says, what does he say? He says he lost his eyesight. The doctor ponders for a second and he finally lets out a sigh. He bluntly walks over to a lawyer and he gives him the cash register, gives him the cash, and he gives him 5 $1 bills. The lawyer says, "Hey, that's only $5. The doctor smiles and says, "That'll be $100. I'm like, "Could you guys hear me?"
Cured.
No, I
He's
don't
cured. Yes.
know.
We heard it. Very
Okay.
funny.
Okay, I wasn't sure half the time. I was just like, maybe this isn't working.
It is one of those adverse effects of mute, is that people see you and they may be giggling, but it's like, you can't capture enough ebullience to know that was, I'm stealing it, because I'll have the full transcript of it. I'll tell it next week at my next Toastmasters meeting.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Joke Master. And now for our better speaking portion, I have the honor and privilege to introduce our first speaker, not just to our virtual meeting, but to the world of Toastmasters. Siobhan Reed is actually the newest member of Oracle Atlanta Toastmasters and will go down as history as the first icebreaker delivered via Zoom. And telling you about her, she's hailing all the way from the south side of town, a true Atlanta Grady baby. We're about to meet our newest member, Siobhan Reed. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please help me welcome Siobhan Reed.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
All right, awesome. It's such a beautiful day to be quarantined, isn't it? And guess what? It's the first day of spring. So, when life gives you lemons, you just have to make lemonades, right? And that's exactly what I did. So I'm the oldest of 3. I was raised by a single mother in poverty, victim of domestic violence, sexual abuse, attempted suicide, and all those obstacles of my troubled childhood are a topic for a different day, but they made me resilient, ambitious, and loyal. I overcame so many odds, and I was the first to graduate from college in my family, and with honors at that. So I've never drank, I never smoked, began working in high school, had 3 jobs at one point, worked at Publix, Circuit City. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Circuit City at all. And then CDC when I was out for school breaks. So mi hablo español un poquito. Mi estudios español en la escuela secundaria para 3 años y a la universidad para 4 años. So, do any of you speak a different language? I've always strived to be so much more, and I did not want to become yet another statistic. So one quote that I really like to reflect on is, "You can never hit a home run sitting in the dugout." Reflect on that for a minute. You can never hit a home run sitting in the dugout. So whenever fear kicks in, I always lean into that quote, and I'm always ready to step up to the plate. I set my goals high, and I strive really, really hard to achieve them. So I claim to be loyal because I've kept my men for more than 20 years. I got with my OB when I was in high school, got with my husband when I was in college, and my dentist when I got my first full-time job with benefits. So each of them I've grown to trust unequivocally, and it's an amazing, amazing feeling because I know they all have my best interests at heart. Aside from being resilient, ambitious, and loyal, I have a need for long-lasting relevance. So I listened to The Burt Show, and they posed the question one day, well, when you're 70 or 80 years old, would you rather have your 30-year-old brain or your 30-year-old body? Well, of course, without a doubt, I totally was like, I want my 30-year-old brain, because if I have that brain, I will be empowered to go for that 30-year-old body. And I still can't quite figure out, like, what makes an old man jack his pants up because surely he didn't do that in his heyday. And then a woman to wear her hair like in an old poofy kind of hairstyle and make her look like someone's great aunt, you know, when she used to have, you know, always want to wear the stylish hairstyles. So that's when my two beautiful love children come in. Lauren, who's 14 and a freshman in high school, and London, who's 11 and in 6th grade. And they keep me in the know. So they let me know exactly, you know, if that heel is one that dates me, or if a fabric or certain kind of style is making me say that I'm like born in the 70s or 80s, and to ensure that I abandon the old people's social platform, also known as Facebook, LOL, YOLO, and that's YOLO, you only live once. And perhaps what makes me the coolest wife and mom is the fact that I embrace my husband's love of cars. I actually drive a modded M4, get this, with custom carbon fiber spoiler, splitters, and a lip that I barely damaged, and red rims, also known as red bottoms. Some of my friends actually call me Speedy Reedy. So I've gotten to travel all over the world. I've gone to Cuba, Greece, Amsterdam, London, Costa Rica, Jamaica, coast to coast. And I would say that probably my most memorable experience was to Cuba. Although at the time, those were the longest 8 days of my life, I kid you not. But the beautiful blue waters, oh my gosh, I cannot explain how beautiful they were, along with the sandy beach that was there. And then I think the other one was my trip to LA. So I'm sure you're all familiar with wax museums. And there were some like on display outside of the building. And my friend and I were in this debate, you know, back and forth about whether it was real, whether it was a real, you know, structure or not. And in our discussion and debate back and forth, it jumped at us and completely scared the bejesus out of us. It was Michael Jackson, by the way. So that was really, really cool. And then, of course, we also got a chance to go behind the scenes for a live taping of The Wheel of Fortune. So that was really cool. And I truly believe in a higher being, and know that in my heart that everything is predestined and everything happens for a reason. So she is the resilient, ambitious, loyal Speedy Reedy, and I'm so glad to be here and ready to put the pedal to the metal and get this, ebulliently conquer my visionary pathway. Hashtag Lego.
Outstanding. Done?
Yes,
Right.
I'm done.
So this is an icebreaker. I think we'll have to break protocol on both sides. Let's everybody unmute. Let's make noise and stand. That is an outstanding icebreaker.
Yay. Yay. Very good.
Outstanding. Now, here's a place where we have a difference in technology. Normally, we would be writing on our ballots our notes for Siobhan. Of course, that's not possible today, for us, unless we have pigeons that will deliver them during our meeting. So in your chat on the right-hand side, let's do a direct message for all of us to Siobhan. So if you go to Siobhan Reed at Aqua Technologies, where she is the CEO, and type your notes for her into there in a direct message to her. Let's do that for today.
Hey,
work?
Richard, can I suggest something instead of that? Can you send chat message privately to me and I'll incorporate in her feedback?
I like it. Bhavana is doing her evaluation, so that will help. Let's see. So look for Bhavana Pavar and send your messages directly to her evaluator. Good idea. Thanks, Bhavana. Bernard, can you give us 1 minute on the clock for that?
That's 1 minute.
Haha. Does anybody need more time? All right, well, moving on, let me go ahead and introduce our second speaker, Miss Ann DeMisa. It's one of those things with Ann, there are very few people that I suspect don't know her, but officially from the record, she is the Assistant Vice President for Digital Media with the Project Management Institute, or PMI, based in Atlanta, an entrepreneur, PhD student, and is very proud of her triple citizenship. Ann describes herself as a Nigerian citizen by birth, an American citizen through naturalization, and most importantly, a citizen of heaven through the Holy Spirit. A self-acclaimed social media evangelist, she enjoys spreading the gospel via Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Ann is a trained journalist who loves the pen and the keyboard. She was not crazy about the mic until she joined Toastmasters 4 years ago. She's now falling in love with public speaking and has become an inspirational speaker. A member of multiple Toastmasters clubs, and now considers herself a Toastaholic. And is currently serving as a division director under District 44 Toastmasters, distinguished Toastmasters candidate, and has jumped on the Pathways bandwagon, and she is presenting a 5 to 7 minute speech from the Pathways Level 4 elective project that's building social media presence, branding your brand. Everybody stand to your virtual feet. Help me welcome my friend, Ann DeMisa.
Oh my God, I'm giving a speech for the first time sitting down. I'm trying my best not to stand up. So this is deliberate. I really want to stand up, but I'm going to have to sit down just to practice speaking or giving a speech without standing up. Do we all know the current occupant of the Oval Office at the White House? I bet we do. Like him, hate him, whatever you think of him, orange head, fanatic, racist, boastful, whatever adjective you choose to describe him, he is who he is. One thing I would not take from him, although I don't care about him, he's not my cup of tea, but one thing I respect him for is the fact that he is a salesman. He knows how to brand himself. Mm-hmm. He wakes up early in the morning, or maybe still up at 3 a.m. He's sitting on the toilet seat, and he is talking to you, Americans. He is on his phone, chatting with you via Twitter. I don't like him, but I love the fact that he entertains me. I enjoy it. And I bet you do. I don't care for him, but I follow him via all social media platforms. We have over 7 billion people all over the world, and this man has branded himself via social media. Mm-hmm. Fellow Toastmasters, he did not start this. Obama started social media with presidency. In as much as Obama is not as loquacious as the current president is, Obama still has the most followers. I'm not good with figures, but I know Obama has much more followers than he is. Over 100 million followers. This is what social media does. It helps you brand yourself. My fellow Toastmasters, how are you branding yourself? Like it or not, this is the world we live in today. Thank God for social media. We're able to socialize in spite of the social distancing that's going on. I'm able to connect with you guys. We still have many Toastmasters today, vice presidents of public relations who are not on social media. They see you post on social media. Some people laugh and say, oh, it's all about you. Why are you sitting on social media? No, I don't sit on social media. I just post my stuff. I wake up, do my morning meditation after speaking to God Almighty, and I go on and share the word as an evangelist to the world via Instagram. Guess what? When I punch Instagram, I'm able to send it directly to Facebook, send it to Twitter and LinkedIn. Yes, LinkedIn, a professional page, I share the word of God as well. You are a brand, Toastmasters. Each and every one of us, we are brands. It all depends on you now to leverage social media to sell your brand to the world. It was via social media that a couple of people have invited me for public speaking. I never met them. They just see you and they say, this is you selling yourself. So it is important. I call on you today, Toastmasters, learn to use social media to leverage your brand. Donald Trump, current president, number 45, is doing it. He's still doing it today. While getting ready for this meeting, I was watching the news and he was there. He was there not just to talk about coronavirus, but still boastful, talking about himself. That was inappropriate. But hey, he was still branding himself. No other president has done this. What we've done so far, he kept saying things like that. I do not encourage that. We have to think about our members when need be for us to empathize, to sympathize. It is not that time for you to be selling yourself, but he did it. I am saying this again. Now, this is the world that we live in. We are leaders. I bet whether in our clubs, in our division, in our areas, in our district, this is a time to not only meet via social media, let's continue to encourage our members to leverage the advantage, the benefits of using social media, not only to sell themselves, but to also help grow our clubs, grow our areas, our division, our district, and to grow yourself professionally. Skilled people in social media, you're technically savvy, you have the advantage of being promoted at your job. You have the advantage of getting jobs quicker than anybody out there. Again, the benefits of social media, I cannot emphasize enough. Richard Hardon, I got to know him more over social media. I don't think he's very busy. He doesn't sit on social media. He just pushes his information out there, his products, his services. That is how we get to know ourselves better. He said something. I don't think there's anybody out there who doesn't know Andy Misa or any Toastmaster. He said that because he sees me all the time on social media. What am I doing? Marketing myself, marketing my services, leveraging the benefit of social media. So I encourage you, use social media. It is the world that we live in today. Beat Trump in using social media. Let people get to know you. Let people say, oh, she doesn't need introduction. He doesn't need introduction. Begin to use social media to be the best Toastmaster you can be. Thank you.
I feel so weird applauding like this, knowing, hey, that was outstanding. Such ebullience, such magnificence, and a message that we all need to hear. Everybody give it, let's do that. Let's take a second off mute and let's actually applaud so we can hear.
Thank you, Ann.
All right, let's take 1 minute to get our notes together for Catherine, who will be evaluating Ann. Let's take 1 minute to get our notes over in a direct message to Catherine Vega. And evaluators, if you could do me a favor, since those are in private chat, make sure you copy them and put them in a document that you can send back to the speaker after the meeting is over so that they get all the love notes that they've gotten through the meeting. Make sense?
I'm using the evaluator form from Pathways. So I'll just copy and paste in that. Is that
That'll
okay?
work. That works just great. Perfect.
And that is 1 minute on the clock.
Oops, give me 30 more seconds so I can finish typing this long sentence.
30 seconds, boss. Got it. All right, 30 seconds.
All right. Well, I know I could probably type evaluations for hours because it's my favorite thing. But for today, I know that we have to move on because I actually have a hard stop at 1. But it is time for the highest value in Toastmasters, in my opinion. It's time for tabletops. Now, by the way, did everybody feel the ebullience in Anne's expression as she went through, literally bubbling over with excitement about how we should brand our brands? Well, I think and I expect that same level of ebullience from our next facilitator. Our table topics master for the day is none other than Wilfred Nyamboli. I see that you're on the line, but I don't see your microphone. Can you hear us okay, Wilfred? Let's see.
I will text him and let him know he's
up,
needs to join.
And if
the
not,
audio,
it'll be a round of double table topics. Oh, is this him?
Or maybe that extra phone number is him.
Is that 518 number yours? Wilfred, is that you? Testing, testing. Paging, Dr. Nyamboli. Paging. Testing, testing.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're very faint, like you're far away, but now you're here.
Oh, okay. So, is it better now?
Much better. There you go. There you are. Loud and clear.
Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry I actually joined the meeting late. Had some technical problems, but now let's go to the table topics. This is when we want to stand on our feet. Maybe we're going to be sitting down today. It's a different thing. But just imagine that you stand on your feet and you're in an elevator with Bill Gates. That elevator is going to go over in 2 minutes. What are you going to tell Bill Gates? Or Bill Gates asks you a question. What's going to be your answer? You just got 2 minutes for this table topic. So, who wants to be my first victim? It's either
/ volunteer.
You choose to be my victim, or I'm going to call you. So, who is my first victim?
All right, look on their pictures. Does anybody have their hand up? Does everybody have their hands way down? Okay, Wilfred.
Okay,
I'm on
Shavon.
mute.
No, Shavon. Shavon
Okay.
is going to be my first victim. Okay, I don't want to go through the corona space, so we're going to make it really fun. Sharon, what's your best excuse when you're pulled over for speeding?
My best excuse? It's just that I was
Sharon, what's your best? Let me ask the question again. Sharon, what's your best excuse when you're pulled over for speeding?
Okay. So everyone knows that I can be referred to as Speedy Reedy, but I know how to drive efficiently. So if ever pulled over, in my mind, I'm always thinking, well, of course I was just having fun. Of course I don't say that to the officer, but if he asks me, well, do you know why I pulled you over? I'm just pretty much honest, and I just go, sure. And I'm like waiting for my ticket. I don't really try to give an excuse because there is no excuse. And let's face it, usually the officers come to the car and they're douches. And they don't really want to have an excuse anyways. And half the time I feel like they are profiling me because of what I'm driving. I mean, I got my first ticket when I was driving my 350Z. That was silver. So, I mean, he clocked me doing 75 and a 55 or 45. So I'm like, okay, well, it is what it is. I got caught this time, but all the other times, so hey, I'll take it. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
You sticking to that? Okay, let's give a round of applause for Sharon. Okay, that was good. So who wants to go next?
Wilfred, I'll go next.
Who is that? Ben?
Yeah, it's Ben.
Oh, Jeremy.
That is Jeremy.
Okay, Jeremy. You're my next victim. Okay, Jeremy, the question goes, would you rather be in big trouble with your partner, your boss, or your mother? Jeremy.
One more time.
Would you rather be in big trouble with your partner, your boss, or your mother?
All right, thank you for the question, Wilfred. But this is one of those, would you rather? I think I would rather be in trouble with my mother, one, because she's not local. And I wouldn't get, and there's good things with that because really I can only get in trouble either through the phone or through email. With my boss and my wife, they're here. I live with my wife, so that's never fun to have that kind of issue where when you get in trouble, then you're tiptoeing around, you're walking on eggshells. With your boss, if you're in trouble, sometimes that could mean that you're unemployed. So for me, I would rather choose my mother because of the distance and the lack of, and really, when you're in trouble with your mom, it doesn't really last. So I'd be off the hook pretty quick. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. Let's clap for Jeremy. And do we have time for one more?
Just one more. Just one more.
Just one more. Okay. Who wants to go next? Going one. Going two. Bernard Assad, can you come up? Hello, Ben?
Yes, I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready.
What
Hit me with your best shot.
What habit would you like to break? Ben, what habit would you like to break?
I don't know if this is a habit so much as it is a character flaw, but I believe the habit I would like to break is letting my internal dialogue bleed through my mouth out loud. It is very important, especially when being quarantined for who knows how many days, weeks, or months on end, to not say the first thing that pops into your head. These are not situations where you can easily walk away from something you said in error. I believe that even though I have perfected the art of speaking without thinking, in the spirit of Toastmasters, and trying to display a certain sense of ebullience for improving myself, I believe that the habit I would most like to break is speaking my mind without actually thinking about it first. Thank you. Back to you,
Thank you.
Toastmaster.
And that concludes our table topic for the day. With this, I hand over to the Toastmaster of the day, Richard Hardon.
All right, welcome back. Got to remember to unmute myself. Y'all are hilarious. Outstanding job. Now, one thing that we need to do for both sections, let me take a minute to get a timer's report for both our prepared speakers and our table topic speakers. Mr. Timer, can you help us out?
Yes, sir. Today we had two speakers. Siobhan Reed spoke for 5 minutes, 41 seconds, just in time from her 4 to 6 minute icebreaker. And Ann Demisa spoke for 6 minutes, 15 seconds, just in time of her 5 to 7 minute window. They both qualified. Please vote for your favorite speaker today. And how are we going to do that?
Let's try our poll technology. Let me see if I can make this work. And
why don't we just send a private message to Ben and say who we thought was the best speaker?
I guess that would work, except I gotta try this technology out. All right, let's see how this happens. All right. And who were our speakers for table topics, Ben?
Today we had 3 speakers for table topics. We had Siobhan Reed, Sir Jeremy Moody, and myself, Bernard Asaf. Siobhan spoke for 1 minute, 6 seconds. Sir Jeremy spoke for 1 minute, 15 seconds. And I spoke for 1 minute, 9 seconds. So we all qualify.
Outstanding. So let me see. Let me get that added to our poll and send it. Did that happen yet? Oh, there we go. Launch polling. All right. 1 vote. You can vote for yourself if you think that you're the best. So vote for best speaker and best table topic speaker. Did that question pop up on your end? Do you see it?
No.
No, I do not see a question. Maybe you have to have the executive version of Zoom, such as you have on your end in order to do polling. I don't know. But you can send me a private message with your votes. Oh, I just got a pop-up poll.
Oh, it popped up. Oh, so fancy.
Wow. Okay. Very clever. All right.
Now, only you see the poll?
Let's see. Right
It's
now.
okay, you can be honest.
I'm seeing 1 poll for best speaker. Is there a second poll to follow for
There
best
should
table
be
topic?
a second question. Now, this is me and technology trying to learn one another. Let's.
All right. So I just
let's see.
submitted my first answer.
All right. It's very fancy, but at this point, so end of polling. Let's go ahead and share those results. So we have very close margin. 6 to 4. Our best speaker, Siobhan, congratulations. All right, now let's see what happened with my other poll, part 2. Stop sharing results and edit. And
I have not seen a poll number 2 yet. Have you sent that out?
I thought I added it to that poll, but apparently it got deleted. So let's see. Fast edit hands. Go, go, go. And it was Siobhan, Jeremy, and Bernard.
That's Sir Jeremy.
Sir Jeremy, correct. Knighting does help in the voting process. All right, so poll 2. And let's see if we get that one to launch from here. If not, it'll be a quick vote the other way. Make sense? All right, so let's end that one. And poll 2, nope. Okay, this is just not gonna work that way today. So for today, Let's send all the results to me, and I will practice my polling skills for next time. Polling will be my working area for next time. All right, now who are we sending these to, Ben? Are you counting up votes?
I can. You just said to send them to you, so I think that's what people are
Send them
doing.
to me because I'm about to step down, because it's now time for us to evaluate how we can get better. Because here's the great thing. This is the best virtual meeting ever conducted by Oracle Atlanta Toastmasters, but I have the feeling it can get better, and to get better, we have to go to our better listening section. Let me introduce our general evaluator to go through the evaluation of the meeting, while at the same time you finish giving me your votes for table topics.
Mr. Toastmaster.
The floor is yours.
Okay. All right, yeah. I thought I was talking on mute. Okay, for Siobhan's speech, her icebreaker. Again, thank you, Siobhan. Usually when we have somebody do an icebreaker, everyone stands and gives you a standing ovation. I don't know if we'll be able to do that, but in our hearts,
We did it.
That's what we are doing.
Okay, thank you.
And what I will do is I will pass this over to Bhavana, who will be giving your evaluation. Yes, there it is. The Cool Mint icebreakers. Sugar-free, might I add. Bhavana, you can proceed with Siobhan's icebreaker speech.
Thank you, Jeremy. And good afternoon, everyone. Happy to see you all. It's so difficult to be at home and at the same time to be connected with outside world. So thank you, everyone. Siobhan, so your speech, great introduction. I really like you were very, very energetic. Great opening. You know, in just few lines, you walk us through a lot of things, a lot of hurdles, a lot of ups and downs of your life. So I loved it. I mean, it as an audience, it engaged me. Like, oh, she's going to talk, a lot of interesting things about her life. And there were few things which usually people are not comfortable even talking, even mentioning that. And you mentioned everything that was good as well as bad. So very great opening. Then you had great vocal variety. Though we are on Zoom, I could see your enthusiasm when you were talking about the interesting stories about your life. So I liked that part wherein you were not like just talking to a camera and not showing your enthusiasm. So I could see it on your face. I could hear hear that vocal variety when you were talking. And also it had great content. Like there were a lot of things that you talked about your kids, you talked about your husband. So a lot of interesting things that we got to know. And that's what I think is expected in icebreaker. Icebreaker is something that, you open up with your Toastmaster fellow and then you get to know each other. And I think you achieved that challenge or you excelled in that. Apart from that, the only thing that I would suggest is if you could spend equal amount of time in opening, maybe equal amount of time in opening and closing, and then little more in middle part, like the core of it. But overall, it was a great speech. You got very, very good feedback from people. Like one of the feedback was one of the best icebreaker speech I've ever heard, and I think that says it all. I don't need to really, put in more into that. Also, you use the word of the day. That is very good. So all in all, excellent speech. Loved it and would like to hear more from you. And I've already added all the feedback comments to your evaluation form. So I'll email it to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bhavana. Very good evaluation. Yes, hand waves. Okay. Moving on, we are having Catherine do Anne's speech, and I think this was, I'm trying to remember where I had seen it, but I think, Anne, this was your level 2 pathway, maybe?
4.
Oh, it's her 4th. Okay, all right, very good. So Catherine, I will let you take it away with the evaluation of Anne, Miss Anne DeMisa. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. And Misa, you have a phenomenal voice. Right away, you engaged us. It was a little bit of, I would call, magic in your voice, where you pulled us in and you said the word that we all have a little bit of a struggle to hear when you mentioned Trump. And what happened after that? You gave him humanity, and we were able to observe him instead of react to him. And it was all for the purpose of getting your message across. And that message was, we all need to use social media to promote ourselves. You were able to call us to action to use social media, even for those that were uncomfortable to use social media. We all thought, maybe I need to do a little bit more. What else can I do? You showed us an example of a comparison between Trump and Obama, and that was a really good image for us to look at and weigh the differences and see how we would want to brand ourselves. You not only used a lot of passion, you had great eye contact, and everybody was able to connect with you within this medium that we're doing virtually. My apologies. Anyway, sorry for the pause. As you were talking, I would like you to work on a little bit more of a transition between the thoughts. You have a great use of pauses, but there's a thought transition that happened that there's a little bit of a gap. So if you could transition us to the next thought, that would be wonderful. And perhaps show us examples of how we can use social media. That would help flesh out the message that you're giving us a bit more. A little bit of things to challenge ourselves and challenge you brought to my attention is connecting with the camera a bit more. You had a great eye contact, but one of the beautiful things, if you could stay engaged as you're presenting this wonderful, passionate speech that we're all already connected to. The camera doesn't hide anything, and so that's where we're all vulnerable and need to be expressed. So if you can keep that eye contact with the camera just a bit more, we will stay engaged with you. All in all, thank you for the call to action. We are deeply inspired. I look forward to hearing your next speeches.
Thank you, Catherine.
Okay, yes, thank you. Definitely hand claps all around for that. Mr. Timer, can we get a report of the 2 evaluations?
Of course. Today we had 2 speech evaluators. We had Bhavana speaking for 2 minutes, 45 seconds, and Kathy speaking for 2 minutes, 36 seconds. They both qualify. Congratulations. Please vote for your favorite eval speech person, eval speaker. And I believe Richard is doing a little bit of a juggling act right now. So why don't everyone send their votes to me to give him a little bit of administrative break. Back over to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Ben. I know it is right at 1 p.m. Please, everyone, vote. I know usually the general evaluator gives, do you want me to proceed with that, or kind of like, well, Richard's the Toastmaster, so.
I think he can continue this meeting on. So why don't you just proceed with the rest of your team's reports.
Okay, all right, very good. I will do that. We had a grammarian wordmaster, and that is Cheryl. Cheryl, tell us how everyone did perform today. Cheryl, you're on mute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you. So the word of the day was ebullient, which means cheerful and full of energy. I recorded the following people using the word of the day. Kari Evans used it once, Richard 3 times, Bernard 2 times, Tanya 2 times, and Siobhan 1 time. Did I miss anyone? Okay, so we're good there. And also, I was listening for exceptional and poor uses of grammar. I did not record any poor uses of grammar, but for the exceptional uses, I did record Catherine Vega when I liked your phrase, you gave him humanity. For Ann Demisa, I loved your use of the word loquacious when talking about President Obama being not as loquacious as the current president. I also loved your use of the word leverage when you talked about us using social media to leverage our brand and also leveraging the benefits of social media. And then for Siobhan, I loved your use of the word, of course I love Speedy Reedy, but I also loved your use of the word, your quote, you can never hit a home run sitting in the dugout. And that concludes my report.
Excellent.
Yes, thank you, Cheryl. And with the ah counter, was that Kari? That was the ah counter?
Yes, that was me.
Okay. All right. Please tell us how we all performed. Thank you.
Okay. All right. We did well. Tanya, just a couple of ums and a so. Siobhan, it's your first speech, and there were a few crutch words, some so's, more than 5, a couple of you knows, and about 5 ahs, but I think you did really well for a first speech. Oh, and I didn't have any ahs and ums for you, Anne. I had other notes that you did really well, thought-provoking and great eye contact, but no ahs or ums. Sir Jeremy, just a few ahs. Bhavana, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but a few ahs, more than 10, and then a couple of ums. And then everyone else did well. That was it. That is my report. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Kari. I appreciate it. And I guess Richard is moving on to something else. Do you want me to take over kind of for the Toastmaster to move it along?
He asked if I could finish out the meeting,
okay, go ahead.
I will take it from here. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, the not quite officially knighted Sir Jeremy. All right. It's funny, I still feel like I have to pause for clapping, even though there's no sound to mask what I'm actually saying. At any rate, all right, at this point, we are going to switch out of the better speaking, thinking, and listening mode and go to the winners report. We've already had a vote that has been shown for the best speaker, so I believe we should all do another somehow round of applause for our best speaker today, Siobhan. Congratulations.
Yay.
And I'm trying to see if best table topic speaker, Richard was collecting the votes. I don't know if he passed those on to me. I'm scrolling back in my private messages here. Oh, I do see it now. Thank you, Richard. It got lost in the shuffle. Drum roll, please, for our best table topic speaker is Jeremy Moody. Congratulations, Jeremy Moody. And for our best speech evaluator today, we have Kathy Vega. Congratulations, Kathy Vega, on your speech evaluation, award winning. All right. Well, as the tradition of our club is, we would like to invite all of our guests today, of which we had a plenty, to have the opportunity to give us feedback on our meeting. course, this is the first time we've tried virtual meeting, but hopefully some of our in-person meeting flair has carried over from our club to this format. So Kari, would you like to say anything?
Oh, sure. This was a great meeting. I can't believe it was your first. It was well organized. I did get to see some of the personality of the club. I had a great time. And now that you're virtual, I might actually be able to join you guys again. So I'm excited to be here. Well done.
Thank you. And Kari, could you please introduce you're one of our areas, our district dignitaries. Could you please tell us what you do for the District 44 Toastmasters?
Sure. I'm the District 44 Public Relations Manager. So I get to have fun with social media, as Ann said, and communicate information about the district as much as possible and engage with all of our members and just try to make sure that everyone is up to date with what's going on. And then I also get to engage with the community and let them know about the value of Toastmasters and encourage them to come to a Toastmasters meeting.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today. Appreciate that. Always fun to have some dignitaries in the room. And speaking of that, our area director is here, Kathy Vega. I know you visited us many times, but if you would like to give us any feedback on our meeting today, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I think Kari hit it on the money where she saw some of the personality of the club. I think the more comfortable you get with Zoom, we're going to see the true personality of the club, because this club is a very fun club and works on making sure that we enjoy it. One of the things is maybe we can play with our mute when we want to give our laughter feedback, because the laughter is part of the key core components of Oracle Toastmasters. So I think we can play with it a bit more, and I'm happy to support you in that laughter.
Thank you very much, Kathy. And we have two other guests. Cheryl, we'll start with you. Could you tell us your role or what club that you're visiting from?
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me today. I am Cheryl Collins. I'm the district training manager for District 14. And I just happened to be perusing the Facebook for our District 14 page, and I saw the invite to join your meeting today just a couple of minutes before your meeting started. So luckily I was able to shoot a quick text message over to Richard to get the login details, and I was able to join you guys today. But I really enjoyed the meeting. I think it went seamlessly well, and I'm looking forward to enjoying more virtual meetings in the future. So thanks, guys, for having me.
Thank you, Cheryl. And finally, Ann, let's give you that chance to give us some feedback on our meeting today. Thank you for visiting today.
Thank you for having me. I woke up this morning after my morning meditation. As always, I went on Facebook to post to share the gospel, and I saw Richard's invitation popped up, and excitedly I sent him a text message that I would like to attend, and he responded, and funny enough, he responded with a message if I would like to speak. I didn't have a speech ready. That was how do you call it, out of pocket. So I said, okay, let me go ahead just get my level 4 started. So that was it. And I enjoyed it. Like Kari said, I would like to attend this again. Can you guys hear me? I can't hear anybody. What's going on?
Bernard is on mute.
Yeah. So I'm trying to say thank you very much for joining and for giving an impromptu speech. Appreciate that. I think that rounds out our guest survey. Of course, again, congratulations to Siobhan for her icebreaker today. Appreciate you stepping up and joining our club right at a crazy time, but it sounds like we're gonna just plow through no matter what happens with the quarantine effect. And of course, thank you for every one of our other members who played a role in our meeting today. We always like to have a lot of fun, as Kathy said, and I hope that those who visited today were able to have some fun with us. Are there any other announcements that anyone would like to make before we officially call to close the meeting? Okay, well, I will just make one final announcement, which is that I've been seeing some emails from the district about postponing various events. The the Division F speech contest was supposed to be in April. They've announced it's being moved into May, and they're going to try to do it virtually. And I believe also the spring conference is being postponed. I don't think we have a date for that yet. So be on the lookout for some new dates for the contest and the spring conference.
Oh, and one other announcement. We are having a district Q&A this evening at 7:30 p.m. So if you have questions or just want to hear more about the district updates, then you can join us virtually.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Kari. All right. Well, with that, I think we're out of announcements and over time. So do I have a motion to close our meeting?
Motion to close.
Excellent. Thank you, sir, Jeremy. And second.
I second.
Anyone. Thank you very much. I don't know why we're so formal with closing out the meeting, but we do it. Thank you all for joining. Have a wonderful rest of your afternoon, and maybe see you all next week on Zoom. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone.